Hey there guys, welcome to now part 2 of my Berlin adventure. If you missed part 1, I spoke everything to do with the Berlin Wall, why it was built and also, what life would have actually been like during that time. If you want to check it out, you can just click the link above me right here. Now in part 2, I'll be talking about the Holocaust. Berlin has a memorial dedicated to the Jews that were murdered, as well as a museum displaying exactly what happened during that time. So if you like learning about history, you're in the right place. Now, first things first, why did the Holocaust happen? Why did Hitler demand so many Jews to be killed in such horrific ways? So between 1941 to 1945, around 6 million Jews were murdered in mass shootings, concentration camps, and even mobile gas vans. Hitler argued that the Germans were superior to all other races. He became obsessed with racial purity and used the word Aryan.
Yeah, I got that wrong. It's pronounced Aryan, not Aryan.
To describe his idea of a pure German race, for which the Aryan race had a duty to control the world. The Nazis believed that the Aryans had the most pure blood of all of the people on Earth. The ideal Aryan had pale skin, blue eyes and blonde hair. Well, that counts me out then. Non-Aryans, me, came to be seen as impure and evil. Hitler believed that this new race of people was being threatened, particularly by the Jews, gypsies and black people following. These inferior people were seen as a threat to the purity and the strength of the German nation.
So I've made it to the memorial of the murdered Jews, little site. It's all to do with like the Holocaust. Behind me we've got literally 2,711 columns that have been built by some architects, obviously just commemorating the whole Holocaust of all the Jews that died during that disastrous time. The crazy thing with these columns is it's meant to look like a city. Like from the naked eye, it looked like this is all one flat level, and you'll be able to just see lots of random columns. But the more that you go down, it does slope and it begins to look like massive skyscrapers are above you. But yeah, let's go down to the middle and let's see what it's like.
Upon walking towards these huge blocks, you soon become to realise just how big they are and how little you are.
Wow. Yeah, they're really big now. Upon coming to this place, I think you get a lot of people don't really think about what this actual structure is. Get a lot of people doing selfies, like, hey, oh yeah, I'm in a cool place, when really not thinking the bigger picture like this. I think all of these columns are to represent piles and piles of dead bodies, from the Jews back in the day. I think if you were to come here and take pictures, do it more as a case of like a respectful way rather than just doing weird selfies. It is quite a nice, unique, cool place just to walk amongst. Like, you kind of blocks out all the noise and the traffic and the city centre of Berlin, and it gets quite peaceful. And well, my text just goes off, but other than that it gets quite peaceful. And yeah, these huge columns just block out all that noise and just kind of makes you just think and ponder the absolute atrocious stuff that happened back in the day. And you can see as the slope goes more and more down and down, you can see literally how big these columns go. Look how tall that these are right in the back. I don't know how high they are, 9-10 feet or so in the air. Ridiculous.
I then made it to the Typography of Terror, a museum which clearly explains Hitler's rise to power and the rise of the Nazis, World War II and then the post-war period, while also focusing heavily on crimes that the Nazis committed throughout Europe on Jews. It's a very thorough museum with lots to read, and it's free entry too. There are a lot of images and stories that are alarming and disheartening, and these are a few that caught my eye. A picture of a raid on Polish Jews. In order for escape attempts to be more difficult, prisoners were forced to lie face down before being arrested or killed. The startling image of a man about to be executed overlooking a grave of dead bodies. More executions taking place. Seeing things like this in the movies compared to a picture of real life makes it just even more real and concerning. Next up is an image of some high-ranking Nazi officers. This guy, Dr. Fritz Klein, who was involved in selecting Jews and gypsies for death in the gas chambers at Auschwitz. And this guy, Dr. E. Worths, the highest ranking camp doctor, he was involved with selecting the old, sick and feeble prisoners for deaths, as well as choosing prisoners for medical experiments. Or in other words, this group of people were motherfuckers. And then this group of cretins, again high-ranking officers and doctors, all taking a break from the murdering in the gas chambers at Auschwitz. The smiles on their faces are the worrying part. Again, all motherfuckers. Several images of prisoners attempting to escape from camps and then shot dead. However, some of these photos were made out to make it look as if a prisoner was escaping and was staged, when really they were just murdered. Another image of Nazi soldiers or a police unit executing civilians. Just what the hell must be going through your mind if you were in that position? After the killing of 22 German soldiers, 449 Serbian prisoners of mainly Jews, Gypsies and Communists were executed at a firing range. An image of a suspected Jew in Greece being hung in public. Next up is a very sad image to see when children are involved. This group of 22 Jewish children aged between 4 and 17 were taken from school. The photo of them posing for the Jewish New Year in 1942 around 12th of September. A few weeks later, after this photo was taken, most were taken to an Auschwitz concentration camp and murdered upon arrival, then followed by the rest of them at other camps. The only survivor was the little girl in the white dress, Felice Polak. She went into hiding with her family. She died in 2019 at the age of 86. This image shows what a chaotic experience it would have been queuing up for the trains to be taken to your death at a concentration camp. 93 trains left Westerbork transit camp. Over 100,000 people of men, women and children were taken to different concentration camps. Civilians were separated on train platforms, men considered unfit for work, and most women and children were immediately murdered in the gas chambers. Again, what the hell would be going through your mind? And if you were thinking of escaping, you just wouldn't be able to. You'd just be shot dead. There's just literally no escape. On the 15th of April 1945, British forces liberated a concentration camp in northwest Germany, where they were confronted with thousands of unburied corpses. 2 days later, this famous photo was taken of a 7-year-old Jewish boy called Simon Mandag. It's an extraordinary story of how the little boy's family was arrested and taken to a concentration camp in 1942. They got split up, and in 1945 this photo was taken. The mother, who made it out alive, presumed her son had died. However, the boy's uncle, living in New York at the time, saw this photo and recognised his nephew. He contacted the mother, who was living in Amsterdam, and was reunited again in 1947. That's just an amazing story. Simon Mandag died in 2013 at the age of 76. And this is a map of Amsterdam in 1941. Every blue dot represents Jewish inhabitants, and red is non-Jews. Every dot is 10 Jews. Adding them all up really puts things into perspective. And this is just Amsterdam. Now, I didn't want to go too much into detail of the story of the Holocaust, as well, that this would have been a very long video. And there's tons of information on the Holocaust, on what happened and why it did happen online. In books, TV, films, but this video was more of an overview of what happened, and also to show my findings of how Berlin told the story through the museum. So that's been part 2. Hopefully you liked it, and hopefully you have learned something new. I feel it's always good to learn about history, so these things hopefully never happen again. I will have one more part of my Berlin adventure where I'll be focusing on the main tourist attractions that you can do. So less war and death and a bit more fun, so look out for that video very soon. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye!